Hey everyone, I wanted to do a review of the top movie theaters in New York City, and I know there's so many of them, and I wanted to start out with the mainstream theaters because when I thought about it, I realized that there are two major mainstream movie theater chains in New York, AMC and Regal, and I figured it would be good to start by comparing and contrasting them instead of going through a bunch of different movie theaters that are basically the same culturally. So right off the bat, I just want to say I'm a big AMC fan. I go to the movies a lot, like I said before in my previous videos, and I really think AMC is just the top of the game because Regal tends to be managed a little more poorly. They're a little dirtier, and the experience is just, in general, less quality. And one of the first things that I would say about AMC theaters is that the food is much better. I love the AMC food, the quality is high, and you feel like you're getting a better value for your money. One great example are the chicken tenders. Whenever I go to the AMC movie theaters, I love getting the chicken tenders because who doesn't love these? And you get such a great deal. They charge about $8 and you get 8 tenders. So you're basically getting 1 tender per dollar, which is an excellent deal. And they're really big and they're juicy and they give you a lot of sauces. Regal uses these things called Tyson's boneless chicken wings, and they're tiny and they're toasted instead of fried, and they just feel cheap. And you don't want to go to a movie paying all these prices for concessions and then feel like you're getting cheapened out. The other great thing about AMC theaters is that they really value their history, and one big chain that they took over when they became more prominent is Lowe's. So AMC theaters basically can use that to model a lot of their screens. So if you go to the Lincoln Square 13 theater, which I think is on 68th Street in Manhattan, you get a selection of different screens styled after old school movie palaces. So you get a really classic feel. You're paying the same amount of money as you would at a Regal theater, but you get a lot more personality there, and you know that someone paid a lot of attention and put a lot of care into it. One place where Regal has a sort of comparable thing going is at their Union Square location, where they have 2 screens that have balcony seating. So this is great, and I used them once when I went to see the Hunger Games a few years ago, but the thing is that the staff doesn't really know how to get to the balcony seating. There's no signage that tells you where the balcony seating is, and I think that a lot of these screenings, they don't want you to go up there. So it's a really missed opportunity, and you have to kind of be lucky to be able to use it. For me personally, I find the balcony seating to be nostalgic because I used to be a projectionist, and when you're up there in the booth, you're all the way in the back and you're all the way at the top. So it kind of gives you a sort of similar experience there. But back to the AMC Lincoln Square 13 theater, the great thing about this theater, and the reason you have to go, is because of the IMAX screen. Now, the AMC Lincoln Square 13 theater has the largest IMAX screen in the country, and this is real IMAX. It's not like the fake IMAX that you get in a lot of the theaters these days. And where that lies is basically IMAX created this new technology, it's like digital technology, where they lease out their products to the theaters. The screen is slightly larger, but they compensate by bringing the seats closer, and the screen just isn't the classic IMAX size that people got used to in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's just smaller. But back to the point, the screen at the Lincoln Square 13 theater is a real IMAX screen. It's huge, and it's probably the best movie experience you could have. The other thing about this theater is that you get 70mm projection as well, and I saw the Master there and it looked amazing. And later this year, The Hateful Eight is coming out. That's Tarantino's newest movie, and that was shot on 70mm, and you can be sure that it's going to be showing at the Lincoln Square 13 theater in 70mm, and it's going to look amazing. So that's definitely the place to go. Now, my absolute favorite mainstream theater is the AMC Empire 25. Now, this theater is great. It's in the heart of Times Square, and my favorite thing about it is that when you go inside, you're kind of transported away from the hustle and bustle of the city, and for a couple hours you forget that you're in one of the most populous areas in the entire world. The staff is friendly, the theaters are always clean, and there are actually 2 terraces that look down onto Times Square, and you can actually see the skylines from them. So it's a pretty amazing experience, and just going in there, the price of admission alone is worth it to be able to go up and stand on those balconies. Just watch your bags because there are a lot of pickpocketers over there. The other thing that this theater has is AMC Prime, which is AMC's premium theater going experience. So it's a larger screen, more comfortable seats, and the sound is just amazing. It's really immersive. And in Regal's defense, they have a similar deal going called RPX, which has all of the same benefits, and it's great. I saw X-Men First Class in RPX, and it was amazing. I saw it again in a regular theater, and I could really tell the difference. Like, I realized the movie wasn't that good. Like, it's a good movie, but it felt better when I saw it in RPX. And Regal has an RPX in their Times Square location, which happens to be right across the street from the AMC Empire 25. And they also have an RPX screen in their Brooklyn Heights location, which is on Court Street. Now, of course, with both of these experiences, which I maintain are better than the fake IMAX experiences, you're gonna have to pay a little more. So basically, at AMC, for AMC Prime, you're gonna be paying $20.49 a ticket, and for the Regal RPX, you're gonna be paying $20.25. So not a big difference there, but it's still a lot of money, and you have to really pick and choose what you want to see in that style of theater, because, you know, $20 is a huge amount to pay. And that brings me to my next point. Both AMC and Regal offer tickets in the same price range, which is $11 to $16, depending on where you're going to see the movie. But one edge that AMC has over the Regal theaters is that they offer matinee pricing. So if anyone remembers what matinee pricing is, it's if you go into the movie in the morning, then you get to pay a little cheaper for a ticket. So at AMC, their matinee pricing is before 12 p.m., and they have plenty of screenings before 12 p.m. You get a ticket for less than $8, which is a great deal. That's almost, I mean, in some cases, it's half price. You can get this at the AMC Empire 25. You can get this at the Lincoln Square Theater, at their Kips Bay Theater, at their 19th Street Theater. Just check on Fandango, and you can see that the prices before 12 are always a little bit lower. Now, I know everyone thinks ticket prices are so expensive, and they are. And there are always like a couple ways to see movies without paying, which I can get into in another video. It's nothing illegal. I'm all for like seeing movies legally, so I'll get into that later. They basically pay less to show movies now, but they charge more. And I want to get into one more issue I have with Regal theaters, which is that they have far too much security, and the staff is really strict about tickets and what type of ticket you have. So Regal theaters, they check your bags, first of all, which is invasive, and it just makes me upset because I'm like, why are you checking my bag? You know, I guess there's a lot of controversy with the shootings at certain theaters and everything like that, but it's something, when I go to the movies, it makes me feel like I'm at the airport or something like that. It's like, it's not that serious. I always thought that ticket prices were really arbitrary, especially with the fact that seniors and kids take up basically the same amount of space in a movie theater. So it doesn't make any sense that they charge different prices for it. I think there should just be one price for everyone. Another thing that's great about AMC theaters is that in recent years they've been really promoting independent films. So if you go to basically any AMC location, especially a few of them like the Empire 25 and Kips Bay and things like that, you'll be able to see some independent films, which you wouldn't normally get to see anywhere else. And I know in other parts of the country where there's not as big of an audience for it, you probably won't be able to see these movies. So in New York especially, you're fortunate enough to see any type of movie, and you have so many options. So even outside of the mainstream theaters, you have even more options. So I definitely want to get into that in the future, and I'm going to do some reviews on the art house theaters in New York, and as well as the worst theaters in New York, because there are so many theaters and the quality varies greatly. So I want everyone to just be able to get a heads up about that and look out for different experiences that they might have. You have to kind of know what you're getting into. So thanks for listening. I hope you like and subscribe and comment below. Please tune in next time, and have a great day. Bye.